Today I'm going to be giving you a barbell leg press tutorial, and I know this is a controversial, weird exercise. Some of you are thinking, why would I ever want to do that? Stick around, I'm going to explain why it's actually a really good exercise, but first I'm just going to get into how to do it, okay? So first things first, what shoes should you wear? I prefer Vibrams. If you guys want to sponsor me, that'd be cool. I find the flat sole makes it really easy for me to get my feet under the bar. My mobility isn't that great, so it's a little bit of a struggle, as you'll see. Tennis shoes work fine. The bar will just sink into the sole of the tennis shoe and not go anywhere. That's perfectly fine. With these, the arch of my foot does the same thing, and you could also do what the old timers did and wear a shoe with a heel on it. I think that's especially beneficial for really heavy weights. But either way, pretty much any option should work. Just don't use like an Olympic lifting shoe or anything that's just got a flat, hard sole, because then it could roll off of it. So all you're gonna do, if you're doing the self-loaded variation, is simply get yourself under the bar, roll the bar onto you. By the way, if you're skinny like me, the bar will roll right over you, and that's part of the safety of this exercise. If you're using 45-pound plates and you drop it, it's not going to crush you. See, it can roll right over, right? We'll get more into safety later. If you're a bigger guy, you can always, put it on a platform or something so that you can get under it. But anyway, put the bar right over your hips, hip pressed up, just get it on your forearms, and then do an arch floor press to lock it, okay? All right, now you're gonna bring up one foot at a time, okay? If you're a little bit inflexible like me, just get your bar anywhere on the, get your foot anywhere on the bar that you can, just any position you can. You may have to work from out in, and then just kind of kick off, push off with your hands a little bit to shimmy it up, see? You're kind of pushing up and kind of jumping a little bit to give your feet a little bit of space to move. Now some people will be able to get their feet straight into the bar easily, that's fine too. But if not, just shimmy it until you're in the position you want. And bring your hands away. I like to put them down for stability. There's really no sense in having them up here. You're not going to catch a sufficiently heavy bar. Don't worry about that. And then simply press up to extension. Now, if you're not super flexible like me, you'll notice a hamstring stretch here, okay? Sorry about the ambulance. And that's part of why this exercise works so well. The hamstring stretch is making it a little bit harder on the quads at the top. And additionally, the stabilization aspect makes it a little bit harder on the quads at the top because they still have to contract pretty hard here to keep things stable. Especially given that, as you see, the bar moves laterally. It moves back towards my face as I go down, and then it moves a little bit downwards as I go up, downwards towards my feet, that is. So my quads actually have to fire fairly hard, especially with a heavy weight, to arrest that forward movement at the top. I mean, we all know that the top of a machine leg press is a joke. I mean, anybody and their mom could do a 3-inch ROM with 1,000 pounds, right? Not so much on this. The top is actually a very serious part of the movement. You're fighting against your hamstrings, you're fighting against stabilization. That's kind of why stabilization makes this such a good exercise, because it smooths out the resistance curve. It's not just hard here, easy here, it's hard throughout the movement. That's one of the reasons why this is such a valuable exercise. Like you definitely don't get any release at the top. In fact, I often find my quads cramping up at the top. As you can see, I've got plenty of freedom of movement. I can move in whatever pattern I want, as opposed to a leg press machine where you're locked into one pattern. A lot of times those can hurt your knees. This is about the most knee-friendly exercise that I've found so far. And you can actually use this to develop mobility too, because you're able to push directly into that hip stretch. Unlike say a squat, where you can compensate in various ways, you're kind of pushing directly back, right? You're pushing directly into that stretch, and there's nothing that can really compensate. Now you can bring your ass up, but I don't recommend you do that. That's less stable. It's not going to be as safe. You're not going to be able to lift as much weight. Okay, safety. How do you keep the bar on your feet? Well, it's actually really easy. Okay. So imagine this is your foot. If you want to dump the bar forward, all you have to do is do a calf raise. Point your toes up, and the bar will go forward. You can do a calf raise with anything you can barbell leg press. So it's very simple, just to point your toes up, dump it forward. It's that easy. There's no way it's gonna roll all that way off, right? Okay. So we've gone over why I like it so much. My quads are actually feeling it even with this tiny weight, just because of the stabilization demands. Okay, so how do you end the exercise? Well, you can reverse it right back down, just like so, and catch it. Okay. So I've gone into a lot of why you'd want to do this exercise. The main reason why people wouldn't want to do this exercise is safety. And I'm going to shut that down right now, okay? I'm doing it out here in the parking lot, but there's absolutely no reason why you can't just do it in a power rack, in some sort of a setup where you have like gymnastics ring straps or any other kind of strap holding the bar. Maybe that strap setup that you have for powerlifting squats. I mean, you can very easily rig something up to catch the bar before it falls down on you. Now, like I just showed you, I actually fit under the bar. So, I mean, if it falls on me, it's not going to crush me. I mean, maybe if I don't suck under it enough, it might slightly bruise me, but I'm basically safe. If I turn my head to the side, I'm fine. That's the benefit of this size of plates. And by the way, this was determined to be the proper height for plates back in the day, you know, so that it could fit over the average person, right? That's why we have such tall standard plates, at least as I understand it. But anyway, I mean, I've never had it fall towards my face. I've always been able to dump it forward because, I mean, your calf extension, that's always going to be a more powerful movement. You just have to get like an inch of movement. I mean, can you kick an inch? Okay, then you can dump it forward. It's never been an issue whatsoever for me. But like I said, if you don't trust that, feel free to do it in a power rack, and now it's easily as safe as a bench press or a squat, so you have no reason not to do it. Like I said, the reasons that I like to do it are, I think it's a uniquely good leg press variation. I don't like the regular leg press. I've always found that it just, doesn't really give me a lot of freedom of movement. I don't really feel where I'm trying to feel. I do feel in the knees and everything. And it's just kind of a joke for most of the movement. I mean, you can kind of, when you do get deep, a lot of times you're going to want to use your back instead of your legs to get that, instead of your hips to get that range of motion. That's not really optimal. On this, you can just move the bar exactly where you want it because of the freedom of movement. And like I say, the resistance curve is very smooth. There's really no easy part of this, and that's really the main benefit. Like, how many leg exercises do you know where the top of it is hard? That's not, I mean, there are some, but that's not common. That's really the main benefit. I mean, you'll be cramping up at the top. I'm not saying it's a substitute for squats or anything like that. Still do your squats, obviously, but this is a really good addition. And if you want to, just have some variety, because I guarantee you'll feel a lot of different things working that you don't usually feel on squats, because the leg doesn't usually work in this way, right? Obviously, if you want to start very light, because there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of practice needed before you're actually good at it. Don't expect to make this a primary movement and get a good workout. Like, play around with this at the beginning or end of your workout, either in your warm-up or after you're done with your serious work, and acquire the skill. If you played around with it enough, you may find that you can make it a secondary movement and start getting some decent work on it. And then if you really like that as a secondary movement, you might even move it up to a primary like I do. But I'm not telling you go out and ditch squats and start barbell leg pressing. No. But it's maybe something you might want to experiment with. And I think when you do, you'll find that it works your legs in a way they're not used to being worked. And it hits some things that a lot of other leg exercises don't quite hit quite as well. That's all. Hope you guys enjoyed this.